would you rather race in a cold weather or hot weather like here in St. Pete?
I think if I was going to choose, I would love warm weather.
Yes, why?
Cold weather can be nice, but the warm weather, it's more of a challenge. Physically, it's a challenge. Anything that makes the conditions more difficult, I always like, because you can lean on your fitness more, and as a driver, that's something I control. So anything that's in my control that's more difficult, I love the challenge of that to try and be better than the drivers around me.
When you compete and you are there driving, you're competing, how do you know you're gonna win?
It's very difficult to predict if you're going to
Yes.
win. There's moments within the race where you're really getting to a critical point. Sometimes it's that first pit stop, or it's maybe the last pit stop, and you can start to see where the race is going. And there are pivotal moments where you can tell you're going to win the race, or that it's very possible. But you got to stay vigilant, because even when you feel like you're absolutely going to win the race, something can happen at the last minute and change. So you can't ever feel too confident until it's actually over.
How important is the timing?
Timing is critical on everything, as far as when you pit, what tires you take, how much fuel you take. Timing is everything in racing. If you don't get your timing right, it's impossible to win the race.
I totally agree with you, and I watch you guys. I watch Formula One, and it's crazy. It's amazing, the adrenaline there. It was this your dream when you were a child?
Well, I always loved racing.
Yes.
I always wanted to race when I was a young kid. I don't know that I ever dreamed of becoming a professional driver. Not when I was a kid, but when I started getting into racing and karts, I definitely started to dream about being here one day and doing this as a job. And it's unbelievable that it all worked out. I get to live my fantasy every single day.
What else did you want to do when you were a child?
Well,
We all have dreams.
For me, it was all racing. I didn't necessarily think of it as a job.
Yes.
I thought of it more as like a hobby, or
Yes.
when you're really young, you don't think about where you're going to make money. You just think about what do you like to do for fun, and for me, it was all racing.
But you and I think you're gonna cook Italian food, pasta. No way.
Cooking was definitely a passion too. So I'll do that as well now. Yeah.
Yes. Maybe you can write a book.
Maybe I could be a financial advisor. I
Yes.
could work in the markets and guide people through the equity markets and understanding what to look at and what not to look at. And maybe that's something I'll get into.
Yes.
Joseph,
thank you for talking with me, and I will love to see you crossing the line
Awesome.
on the first place.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Appreciate it.
Thank
Yeah.
you.